Come BBTPI founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Om Vishnu Pada Brahmam Sabhajaka Acharya Shtota Shata Shishmat His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Nama Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Premise Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki jai. Shri Vrajabhumi Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Shri Navadvip Mayapur Dham ki jai. Shri Purushottam Chaitra Jagannath Puri Dham ki jai. Shri Ayodhya Dham ki jai. Ganga Mai ki jai. Yamuna Mai ki jai. Bhakti Devi ki jai. Tulasi Devi ki jai. Samavrita Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Harinama Sankirtana ki jai. Nitai Gaura Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Praladadaine. Hiranyakashipurvakshaha. Shilatanka nakhalaye. Hito narsimha parato narsimha. Yato yato yami tato narsimha. Bahir narsimha hridaye narsimha. Narasingamadim sharanam prapadye. Tava kara kamalavare nakham adbhuta shringam. Dalita hiranyakashipu tanubhringam. Keshavadhrita narahari rupa jai jagadisha hare. Jai jagadisha hare. Jai jagadisha hare. Jaya Narsimhadev, Jaya Narsimhadev, Narsimhadev, Jaya Narsimhadev. Jaya Lakshmi Narasingha, Jaya Lakshmi Narasingha, Jaya Lakshmi Narasingha, Jaya Lakshmi Narasingha. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद भक्ति विघ्न विघ्नाशक श्री नरसिंहदेव भगवान की, भक्त शिरोमणि प्रहलाद महाराज की जय, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।
Namo Namaha Tulasi Krishna Prayasi Namo Namaha Namo Namaha Tulasi Krishna Prayasi Namo Namaha Radha Krishna Seva Pabo Eya Bilasi Radha Krishna Seva Pabo Eya Bilasi Je tomara sharana loy Tara vancha puna oy Tara vancha puna Kripa kori koro tare Vrindavanavasi Mora e abilas, vilas kunja diavas. Narana eribosara, yugara ruparasi. Ei nivadana dara saki anangata koro Seva pikara die koro ninja dasi Dina Krishna dase koi ei namora oi Shri Radha Govinda Preme Sadayana Basi. Shri Radha Govinda Preme Sadayana Basi. Yani kani cha papani Brahma hatati kani cha Tani tani pranya shanti Pradashina pade pade. Yani kani cha papani Brahma hatyati kani cha Tani tani pranya shanti parikshane pade pade. Yani kani cha papani Brahma hatyati kani cha Tani tani pranya shanti parikshane pade pade. Yani kani cha papani Brahma hatyati kani cha Tani tani pranya shanti parikshane pade pade. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Tulsi Maharani, Jaya Tulsi Maharani, Jaya Tulsi Maharani, Jaya Tulsi Maharani. Jaya Vrinda Devi, Jaya Vrinda Devi, Jaya Vrinda Devi, Jaya Vrinda Devi. Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Nitai Gora Haribo. Shivandaye Tulasi Deva. Oh. Shivandaye Tulasi Deva Priyaye Kesavisata Vishnu Bhakti Prada Deve Satatataye Namo Namaha. Shivindaye Tulasi Deva Priyaye Kesavasata Vishnu Bhakti Prada Deve Satavataye Namo Namaha. Shivindaye Tulasi Deva Priyaye Kesavasata Krishna Bhakti Prada Deve Satavataye Namo Namaha. Tulsa Mahani Ki Vrinda David Ki Jai.
O Tulasi, beloved Krishna, I bow down before your name again. My desire is in the third to see Shirada and Krishna. Wherever the church of you has wished to fulfill, please have mercy upon him and make him a resident in Vrindavan. My desire is also to be resident in precious Lord Shri Vrindavan. Thus within my vision shows before the face of Master Radha and Krishna. I beg that the meeting and all of the paradise of the rest. Please give their grace devotion service and make my own maid servant. This very fallen lowly servant of Krishna praise. May I always swim the love, Shri Radha and Govinda. Srimati Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai. There are 10 offenses in the matter of chanting holy names should be avoided, and they are as follows. 1. To blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their life for propagating holy name the Lord. 2. To consider the name the demigods allow Shiva or Brahma to be equal to independent name Lord Vishnu. 3. To disobey the orders of spiritual master. 4. To blaspheme the Vedic literature or literature pursuing the Vedic version. 5. To consider the glory of chanting Hare Krishna to be imagination. 6. To give some interpretation to holy name the Lord. 7. To commit sinful activities on the strength of chanting the holy name. 8. To consider chanting Hare Krishna one of the auspiciously chosen activities offered in the Veda, the fruity activities, karma, ganda. 9. To instruct a faithless person about glorious holy name. 10. To not complete faith in the chanting holy names, and to maintain material attachments even after standing so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense when inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to Vaishnava must carefully guard against these 10 offenses in order to quickly achieve desired success, Krishna prema. Now let us offer most humble obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They are just as I trees who can fulfill to everyone. They are full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. Shri Chaitanya Shastakam Ki Jai. Cheto Tarpana Marjanam Pavamahadavagni Nirvapanam Shriya Kairava Chantrika Vitaranam Vidyavatu Jivanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamita Swadanam Sarvatamasnapanam Paravijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakali Bahudani Cha Sarva Shaktis Tatra Pita Niyamita Smaranena Kalaha Etatishi Tavakripa Bhagavam Hamapi Durudevami Disham Yahajanina Nurakaha Trinatapi Sunichena Tarorapi Saishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sataharihi Na Thanam Na Chanam Na Sundarim Kavitam Vajagadisha Gamaye Mama Jamani Jamani Shvare Bhavata Bhaktir Haituki Toyi Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Man Vishame Bhavam Puto Kripaya Tava Pada Pankaja Sthita Turi Satisham Vichintaya Nayanam Galadashuru Taraya Vadanam Kadgata Rudaya Gira Pulakai Nichitam Vapurkada Tavanama Grahane Bhavishati Yuga itam nimishena chekshusha pravisha itam Shunya itam jagat sarvam govinda virahena me Ashirishava padratam pinnastumam Atarshanam marmahatam karotuva Yatha tatha bhavitadatu lampato matprananathastu sa eva na paraha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Chaitanya Shastakam Ki Jai. Glory to Shri Krishna Sankirtana. which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years, and extinguishes fire of conditional life for repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction of humanity at large, because it spreads a rays of the benediction moon. It's the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases all transcendental bliss, and enables us to fully taste the nectar for which are always anxious. O my Lord, your holy name alone grants all benediction of human beings. Thus you have hundreds of millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you invested all your transcendental energies. They are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out kindness enables us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I'm so unfortunate and have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in humble state of mind, thinking himself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more taller than the tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to commit wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth. O Son of Marananda Krishna, I'm an eternal servitor, yet somehow I fall in the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of Adam's lotus feet. O my Lord, while my eyes be decked with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant the holy name, while my voice choke up, when the hairs of my body stand in anticipation of your name. O Govinda, feeling of separation, I'm considered a moment to be like a great millennium. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I'm feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and shall remain so if he handles me roughly by his embrace, or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipable Lord, unconditionally. Shri Chaitanya Shastra Kam Ki Jai. Shri Mangala Charna Prayers Ki Jai. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnanjana Shalakaya Chakshu Om Litam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Suyam Rupa Kadama Hyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahakana Ragnatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahakana Lalita Shri Vishakham Vitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namene Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nivishesha Shunyavadi Pachadya Desha Darine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Iti Namene Shri Varshabhanavi Devi Daitaya Kripaptaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Daine Prabhave Namaha Madhuryo Jala Premadya Shri Rupa Nuka Bhaktita Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Mutaye Dina Darine Rupa Nuka Virudapa Siddhanta Dvanta Harine Namo Gaura Kishoraya Saksha Vairagya Mutaye Vipralambara Sambodhe Padam Pujayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sachidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varayate Gaura Virbhava Bhumistvam Nirdishta Sajana Priyaha Vaishnava Sarabhama Shri Jaganathaya Te Namaha Vancha Kalpa Turupyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhevacha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratishin Namaha Pancha Tattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakham Namami Bhakta Shaktikam He Krishna Karna Sindho Dinapanto Jagapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Jayatam Suratoro Pangor Mamamanda Mate Kati Masarva Swapadam Bojo Radha Madana Mohano Divya Vindadana Kalpadrumadash Shimadra Nagara Singhasanasto Shrimad Radha Shila Govinda Devo Prishtari Bi Sevyamano Smarami Shriman Rasa Rasarambi Vamsivata Tatastitaha Karasham Venu Suner Gopir Gopinatha Shiyistunaha Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Panamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Dadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Shri Mangala Charana prayers ki jai. Shri Brahma Samhita ki jai. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadya Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam Chintamani Parakara Satmasukalpa Viksha Rakshariteshu Surabhi Rabi Palayantam Lakshmi Sahasra Shatasam Brahmasevyamanam Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Venum Konantam Aravinda Dalaya Taksham Parhavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Kantarpa Koti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Alola Chantakala Savanamari Vamshi Ranangadam Panaya Keli Kala Vilasam Shamam Tipanga Laditam Yata Prakasham Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Angani Yasya Sakalenti Avitimanti Pashanti Panti Kalayanti Chiram Chakanti Ananta Chimmai Satu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Advaitam Achotam Anadi Mananta Rupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayovanam Cha Vedeshu Durabam Adurabam Atma Bhakto Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Pantastu Koti Shatavasara Sampragamyo Vayurathapi Manaso Munipangavanan Sopiyasti Yapapata Simya Vichinta Tatve Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Ekopya Sora Chayitum Jakatanta Kotim Ya Chakti Rasti Jakatanta Chayaya Tantaha Antantarastha Paramanu Chayantarastham Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Yad Bhava Bhavitadiyo Manujasta Teva Samprapya Rupa Mahimasana Yana Pushaha Suktaryam Eva Nikama Patitai Stuvanti Govindam Adi Purutam Tamaham Pajami Ananda Chimmarasa Patibhavitabis Tabiya Evan Jarupa Daya Kalabihi Goloka Eva Nivasatya Kilatma Bhutto Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Premanjana Churuta Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sateva Hidayeshu Vilokayanti Yam Shama Sundam Achintya Gunaswarupam Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Ramadi Murtishu Kalanya Mena Tishtan Nanavatara Makaro Bhuvaneshu Kintu Krishna Swayam Samapava Paramapumamyo Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Pajami. Krishna, who is Govinda, the Supreme Godhead, has an eternal blissful spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin and is the prime cause of all causes.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, the first progenitor who is tending the cows, yielding all desire in a boat built with spiritual gems, surrounded by millions of purpose trees, always served with great reverence and affection by hundreds of thousands of Lakshmis or Gopis.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is adept in playing on his flute, with blooming eyes like lotus petals, with hair decked with peacock's feather, with the figure of beauty tanked with the hue of blue clouds, and his unique loveliness charming millions of cupids.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, round whose neck is swinging a garland of flowers beautified with the moon locket, whose two hands are adorned with the flute and jeweled ornaments, who always revels in pastimes of love, whose graceful threefold bending form of Shamasundar is eternally manifest. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, whose transcendental form is full of bliss, truth, substantiality, and is thus full of the most dazzling splendor. Each of the limbs of that transcendental figure possesses in himself the full-fledged functions of all the organs, and eternally sees, maintains, and manifests the infinite universes, both spiritual and mundane.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is inaccessible to the Vedas, but obtainable by pure unalloyed devotion of the soul, who is without a second, who is not subject to decay, is without a beginning, whose form is endless, who is the beginning and the eternal Purusha, yet he is a person possessing the beauty of blooming youth.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, only the tip of the toe of whose lotus feet is approached by the yogis who aspire after the transcendental and betake themselves to pranayama by during the respiration, or by the jnanis who try to find out the non-differentiated Brahman by the process of elimination of the mundane, extending over thousands of millions of years. He is an undifferentiated entity, as there is no distinction between potency and the possessor thereof. In his work of creation of millions of worlds, his potency remains inseparable. All the universes exist in him, and he is present in his fullness in every one of the atoms that are scattered throughout the universe, at one and at the same time. Such is the primeval Lord whom I adore. I adore the same Govinda, the primeval Lord, in whose praise men who are imbued with devotion sing the mantra suktas told by the Vedas by gaining their appropriate beauty, greatness, thrones, conveyances, and ornaments. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, residing in his own realm, Goloka, with Radha, resembling his own spiritual figure, the embodiment of the ecstatic potency, possessed of the 64 artistic activities, in the company of her confidants, Sakis, embodiments of the extensions of her bodily form, permeated and vitalized by his ever blissful spiritual rasa. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is Shyamasundar, Krishna himself with inconceivable, innumerable attributes, whom the pure devotees see in their heart of hearts with the eye of devotion tinged with the salve of love. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who manifested himself personally as Krishna and in different avatars in the world in the forms of Rama, Nrsimha, Vamana, etc., as his subjective portions.
Sri Brahma Samhita ki jai. Bhagavad Gita 7.1 purport. Srinvatam swakatha Krishna punya sravana kirtanaha hrudayanta histo hi abhadrani vidunoti suhrit satam nasta prayeshva abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama sloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki tada rajastamo bhava kama lobha dayaschaye cheta eter anavidam sitam satve prasidati evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogatah bhagavad tattva vijnanam mukta sangasya jayati विद्यते हृदय ग्रंथेश्चिद्यन्ते सर्वसमस्याः क्षीयन्ते च कर्माणि दृष्टा एवात्मनीश्वरे. To hear about Krishna from Vedic literatures or to hear from him directly through the Bhagavad Gita is itself righteous activity, and for one who hears about Krishna, Lord Krishna, who is dwelling in everyone's heart, acts as the best wishing friend and purifies the devotee who constantly engages in hearing of him. In this way, a devotee naturally develops his dormant transcendental knowledge. As he hears more about Krishna from the Bhagavatam and from the devotees, he becomes fixed in the devotional service of the Lord. By development of devotional service, one becomes freed from the modes of passion and ignorance, and thus material lust and avarice are diminished. When these impurities are wiped away, the candidate remains steady in his position of pure goodness, becomes enlivened by devotional service, and understands the science of God perfectly. Thus, Bhakti Yoga severs the hard knot of material affection and enables one to come at once to the stage of Asamsayam Samagram, understanding of the Supreme Absolute Truth Personality of Godhead, Bhagavatam 1.2.17-21. Therefore, only by hearing from Krishna or from his devotee in Krishna consciousness can one understand the science of Krishna. Hare Krishna. We'll continue reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 15, Text 12. Yatteja sata bhagavan yudisulapanir vismapita sagirijo stram adhan nijam me anye pichayam chaham amunaiva kalevarena prapto mahendra bhavane mahad asanardham. Yet by whose tejasa, by influence, atha at one time, Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead, Lord Shiva, Yudhi, in the battle, Sulapani, one who has a trident in his hand, Visma Pita, astonished, Sa Giri Jaha, along with the daughter of the Himalaya mountains, Astram, weapon, Adat, awarded, Nijam, of his own, me unto me, Anye api, so also others, Sha and Aham, myself, Amuna, by this, Eva, definitely, Kalevarena, by the body, Praptaha, obtained, Maha Indra Bhavane, in the house of Indra Deva, Mahat, great, Asana Ardham, half elevated seat. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. It was by his influence only that in a fight I was able to astonish the personality of Lord Shiva and his wife, the daughter of mountain Himalaya. Thus he, Lord Shiva, became pleased with me and awarded me his own weapon. Other demigods also delivered their respective weapons to me. And in addition, I was able to reach the heavenly planets in this present body and was allowed a half elevated seat. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. By the grace of the Lord, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, all the demigods, including Lord Shiva, were pleased with Arjuna. The idea is that one who is favored by Lord Shiva or any other demigod may not necessarily be favored by the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. Ravana was certainly a great devotee of Lord Shiva, but he could not be saved from the wrath of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Ramachandra. And there are many instances like that in the histories of Puranas. But here is an instance where we can see that Lord Shiva became pleased even in the fight with Arjuna. The devotees of the Supreme Lord know how to respect the demigods. But the devotees of the demigods sometimes foolishly think that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is no greater than the demigods. By such a conception, one becomes an offender and ultimately meets with the same end as Ravana and others. The instances described by Arjuna during his friendly dealings with Lord Krishna are instructive for all who may be convinced by the lessons that no one can achieve all favor simply by pleasing the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, whereas the devotees or worshippers of the demigods may achieve only partial benefits which are also perishable, just as the demigods themselves are. Another significance of the present verse is that Arjuna, by the grace of Lord Sri Krishna, was able to reach the heavenly planet even with the self-same body and was honored by the heavenly demigod Indradeva, being seated with him half elevated. One can reach the heavenly planets by the pious activities recommended in the Shastras in the category of fruitive activities. And as stated in the Bhagavad Gita 9.21, when the reactions of such pious acts are spent, the enjoyer is again degraded to this earthly planet. The moon is also on the level with the heavenly planets, and only persons who have performed virtues, only performing sacrifices, giving charity, and undergoing severe austerities can be allowed to enter into the heavenly planets after the duration of life of the body. Arjuna was allowed to enter into the heavenly planets in the self-same body simply by the grace of the Lord. Otherwise, it is not possible to do so. The present attempts to enter into the heavenly planets by the modern scientists will certainly prove futile because such scientists are not on the level of Arjuna. They are ordinary human beings without any assets of sacrifice, charity, or austerities. The material body is influenced by the three modes of material nature, namely goodness, passion, and ignorance. The present population is more or less influenced by the modes of passion and ignorance, and the symptoms for such influence are exhibited in their becoming very lusty and greedy. Such degraded fellows can hardly approach the higher planetary systems. Above the heavenly planets, there are many other planets also, which only those who are influenced by goodness can reach. In heavenly and other planets within the universe, the inhabitants are highly intelligent, many more times than the human beings, and they are all pious in the higher and highest mode of goodness. They are all devotees of the Lord, and although their goodness is not unadulterated, still they are known as demigods possessing the maximum amount of good qualities possible within the material world. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Text 15, Chapter 13. Tatraiva me viharato bhuja danda yugmam गांडीव लक्षणम आरती वाद्या देवा सेन्द्राश्रितयाद अनुभव भावितम अजामिदा तेनाहम अद्यमूसिता पुरुषेण भूपाल Tatra, in that heavenly planet, he was certainly me myself viharataha, while staying as a guest, Bhujadanda Yugmam, both of my arms, Ghandiva, the above named Ghandiva, Lakshana, mark, Arati, a demon named Nivata Kavacha, Vadhaya, for killing, Deva, all the demigods, Sa, along with Indra, the heavenly king, Indra, Strita, taken shelter of, Yat, by whose Anubhavitam made it possible to be powerful, Ajamida, descendant of King Ajamida, Tena, Bahim, Aham, myself, Adhya, at the present moment, Mushita, bereft of, Purushena, the personality, Bhuma, supreme, translation by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. When I stayed for some days as a guest in the heavenly planets, all the heavenly demigods, including King Indradeva, took shelter of my arms, which were marked with the Ghandiva Bhav, to kill the demon named Nivata Kavacha. O King, descendant of Ajamida, at the present moment I am bereft of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by whose influence I was so powerful. Purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The heavenly demigods are certainly more intelligent, powerful and beautiful, and yet they had to take help from Arjuna because of his Gandiva Bhav, which was empowered by the grace of Lord Sri Krishna. The Lord is all powerful, and by his grace his pure devotee can be as powerful as he may desire, and there is no limit to it. And when the Lord withdraws his power from anyone, he is powerless by the will of the Lord. Chapter 1:15, next 14.
Yad bad varha kuru baladim ananta param ekora denataram ham itriya sarvam pratai barom daram cha maya parasham tejas param minamaye cha haram shirobhya yat bandhava, to whose friendship only Kuru Bala Adhyam, the ocean of military strength of the Kurus, Ananta Param, which was insurmountable, Ekha, alone, Ratena, being seated on a chariot, Tatare, was able to cross over, Aham, myself, Italia, invincible, Shatvam, existence, Prathatram, drew back, Bahu, very large quantity, Danam, wealth, Cha, also, Maya, by my Padasham, of the enemy, Teha Padam, source of brilliance, Mani Mayam, bedecked with jewel, Cha, also, Ritam, take by force, Shiryopya, by their heads. Translation. The military strength of the Kauravas was like the ocean in which there were dwelled many invincible existences, and thus it was insurmountable. But because of his friendship, I, seated on the chariot, was able to cross over it. And only by his grace I was able to regain the cows and also collect by force many helmets of the kings, which were bedecked with jewels, that were sources of all brilliance. Purport. On the Kaurava side, there were many stalwart commanders like Bhisma, Drona, Kripa, and Karna, and their military strength was as insurmountable as a great ocean. And yet it was due to Lord Krishna's grace, and Arjuna's alone, sitting on the chariot, could manage to vanquish them all will vanquish them one after another without difficulty. There were many changes of commanders on the other side, but on the Pandavas' side, Arjuna alone on a chariot driven by Lord Krishna could manage the whole responsibility of the great war. Similarly, when the Pandavas were living at the palace of Virata incognito, the Kauravas picked a quarrel with King Virata and decided to take away his large number of cows. While they were taking away the cows, Arjuna fought with them incognito and was able to regain the cows along with some booty taken by force and jewels set on the turbans of the royal order. Arjuna remembered that all of this was possible by the grace of the Lord.
Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 15, Text 15. Yo Bhishma Karna Guru Saiva Kamush Attarva Rajanya Varya Rata Mandala Maditasu Agre Charo Mama Vivo Rata Yupadmanam Ayurman Masi Chadirsha Saha Oja Achanat. Yeah. It is he only. Bhishma, Karna, Guru, Dronacharya, Salya, Kamushu, in the midst of the military phalanx, Abhadra, immense, Raja Vraja, royal princess, Ratamandala, chain of chariots, Manditasu, being decorated with, Agachara, going forward, Mama of mine, Vivo, O great king, Ratayutapanam, all the charioteers, Ayu, duration of life or fruitive activities, Manamsi, mental charges, Cha, also, Drisha, by glance, Saha, power, Ohaya, strength, Acharat, withdrew. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. It was he only who withdrew the duration of life from everyone and who, in the battlefield, withdrew the speculative power of the strength of enthusiasm from the great military phalanx made by the Kauravas, headed by Bhishma, Karna, Drona, Salya, etc. Their arrangement was expert and more than adequate, but he, Lord Sri Krishna, while going forward, did all this. Srila Prabhupada. The absolute personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, expands himself in his plenary Paramatma portion in everyone's heart, and thus he directs everyone in the matter of recollection, forgetfulness, knowledge, the absence of intelligence, and all psychological activities. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, text 15. As the Supreme Lord, he can increase or decrease the duration of life of all living beings. Thus, the Lord conducted the battle of Kurukshetra in according to his own plan. He wanted the battle to establish Yudhisthira as the emperor of the planet, and to facilitate the transcendental business he killed all who were on the opposite party by his omnipotent will. The other party was equipped with military strength, performed by big generals like Bhishma, Drona, Salya, and it would have been physically impossible for Arjuna to win the battle had the Lord not helped him in every kind of tactic. Such tactics are generally followed by every statesman, even in modern warfare, but they are done materially by powerful espionages, military tactics, and diplomatic maneuvers. But because Arjuna was the Lord's affectional devotee, the Lord did all this himself without personal anxiety by Arjuna. This was the way of devotional service to the Lord.
Canto 1, Chapter 15, Text 16. Yiddoshima pranihitam guru bhishma karna naptru trigartasalya saindava bahil likadyai asrani amoga mahimani rupitani no pashprushur narahari dashamivasurani. Yet under whose, those who, protection of arms, ma pranihitam, myself being situated, Guru, Dronacharya, Bhishma, Karna, Naptru, Burishrava, Trigarta, King, Susharma, Salya, Saindava, King, Jayadratha, Bahilika, brother of Maharaj Shantanu, Bhishma's father, Adhyai, etc. Asrani, weapons, Amoga, invincible, Mahimani, very powerful, Nirupitani, applied, no, not, Upasprushaha, touched, Naraharidasham, servitor of Narasimhadeva Prahlada, Iva, like, Asurani, weapons employed by the demons. Translation: great generals like Bhishma, Drona, Karna, Bhurishrava, Shusharma, Salya, Jayadratha, Bahlika all directed their invincible weapons against me. But by his Lord Krishna's grace, they could not even touch a hair on my head. Similarly, Prahlada Maharaj, the supreme devotee of Lord Narasimhadeva, was unaffected by the weapons the demons used against him. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The history of Prahlada Maharaja, the great devotee of Narasimhadeva, is narrated in the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Prahlada Maharaja, a small child of only 5 years, became the object of envy for his great father, Hiranyakasipu, only because of his becoming a pure devotee of the Lord. The demon father employed all his weapons to kill the devotee son Prahlada, but by the grace of the Lord, he was saved from all sorts of dangerous actions by his father. He was thrown in a fire, in boiling oil, from the top of a hill, underneath the legs of an elephant, and he was administered poison. At last, the father himself took up a chopper to kill his son, and thus Narasimhadeva appeared and killed the heinous father in the presence of the son. Thus, no one can kill the devotee of the Lord. Similarly, Arjuna was also saved by the Lord, although all dangerous weapons were employed by his great opponents like Bhishma. Karna, born of Kunti by the sun god prior to her marriage with Maharaja Pandu, Karna took his birth with bangles and earrings, extraordinary signs for an undaunted hero. In the beginning, his name was Vasusena, but when he grew up, he presented his natural bangles and earrings to Indradeva, and thenceforward he became known as Vaikartana. After his birth from the maiden Kunti, he was thrown in the Ganges. Later, he was picked up by Adhiratha, and he and his wife Radha brought him up as their own offspring. Karna was very charitable, especially toward the Brahmanas. There was nothing he could not spare for a Brahmana. In the same charitable spirit, he gave in charity his natural bangles and earrings to Indradeva, who, being very much satisfied with him, gave him in return a great weapon called Shakti. He was admitted as one of the students of Dronacharya, and from the very beginning there was some rivalry between him and Arjuna. Seeing his constant rivalry with Arjuna, Duryodhana picked him up as his companion, and this gradually grew into greater intimacy. He was also present in the great assembly of Draupadi's Swayamvara function, and when he attempted to exhibit his talent in that meeting, Draupadi's brother declared that Karna could not take part in the competition because of his being the son of a Sudra, carpenter. Although he was refused in the competition, still, when Arjuna was successful in piercing the fish target on the ceiling and Draupadi bestowed her garland upon Arjuna, Karna and the other disappointed princess offered an unusual stumbling block to Arjuna while he was living with Draupadi. Specifically, Karna fought with him very valiantly, but all of them were defeated by Arjuna. Duryodhana was very much pleased with Karna because of his constant rivalry with Arjuna, and when he was in power, he enthroned Karna in the state of Anga. Being baffled in his attempt to win Draupadi, Karna advised Duryodhana to attack King Drupada. For after defeating him, both Arjuna and Draupadi could be arrested. But Dronacharya rebuked them for this conspiracy, and they refrained from the action. Karna was defeated many times, not only by Arjuna but also by Bhishma Sena. He was the king of Kingdom of Bengal, Orissa and Madras combined. Later on, he took an active part in the Rajasuya sacrifice of Maharaja Yudhishthira. And when there was gambling between the rival brothers, designed by Shekuni, Karna took part in the game, and he was very pleased when Draupadi was offered as a bet in the gambling. This fed his old grudge. When Draupadi was in the game, he was very enthusiastic to declare the news, and it is he who ordered Dushasana to take away the governments of both the Pandavas and Draupadi. He asked Draupadi to select another husband because, being lost by the Pandavas, she was rendered a slave of the Kurus. He was always an enemy of the Pandavas, and whenever there was an opportunity, he tried to curb them by all means. During the battle of Kurukshetra, he foresaw the conclusive result, and he expressed his opinion that due to Lord Krishna's being the chariot driver of Arjuna, the battle should be won by Arjuna. He always differed with Bhishma, and sometimes he was proud enough to say that within 5 days he could finish up the Pandavas if Bhishma would not interfere with his plan of action. But he was much mortified when Bhishma died. He killed Ghatotkacha with the Shakti weapon obtained from Indradeva. His son Rushasena was killed by Arjuna. He killed the largest number of Pandava soldiers. At last there was a severe fight with Arjuna, and it was he only who was able to knock off the helmet of Arjuna. But it so happened that the wheel of his chariot struck in the battlefield mud, and when he got down to set the wheel right, Arjuna took the opportunity and killed him, although he requested Arjuna not to do so. Mataji, you can continue reading.
Napta or Burusharva. Burusharva was the son of Somadatta, a member of the Kuru family. His other brother was Salya. Both of the brothers and the father attempted the Svayamsvara ceremony of Draupadi. All of them appreciated the wonderful strength of Arjuna due to his being the devotee friend of the Lord, and thus Burusharva advised the sons of Dhritarashtra not to pick any quarrel or fight with them. All of them also attended the Rajasuya Yagna of Maharaj Yudhishthir. He possessed one Ashatani regiment of the army, cavalry, elephants, and chariots, and all of these were employed in the battle of Kurukshetra on behalf of Duryodhana's party. He was counted by Bhishma as one of the Yuthapatis. In the battle of Kurukshetra, he was especially engaged in a fight with Shatyaki, and he killed 10 sons of the Shatyaki. Later on, Arjuna cut off his hands, and he was ultimately killed by Shatyaki. After his death, he merged into the existence of Vishvadeva. Srigartha or Shushamara, son of Maharaj Vridhatsetra. He was the king of Tigatadesha, and he was also present in the Svayamasvara ceremony of Draupadi. He was one of the allies of Duryodhana, and he advised Duryodhana to attack the Matsya Desha. During the time of cow stealing in the Vigrata Naraga, he was able to arrest Maharaj Virata, but later Maharaj Virata was released by Bhishma. In the battle of Kurukshetra, he also fought very valiantly, but at the end he was killed by Arjuna. Jayadratha, another son of Maharaj Vidhatsetra, he was the king of Sindhushya, modern Sindh, Pakistan. His wife's name was Dusala. He was also present in the Shayamasvara ceremony of Draupadi, and he desired very strongly to have her head. but he failed in competition. But since then, he always sought the opportunity to get in touch with Draupadi. When he was going to marry in the Salya Desha, on the way to Kamayavana, he happened to see Draupadi again and was too much attracted to her. The Pandavas and Draupadi were then in exile after their losing their empire in gambling, and Jayadartha thought it wise to send news to Draupadi in an illicit manner through Kautsitya, one of his associates. Draupadi at once refused vehemently the proposal of Jayadartha, but being so much attracted by the beauty of Draupadi, he tried again and again. Every time he was refused by Draupadi, he tried to take her away forcibly on his chariot. And at first, Draupadi gave him a good dashing, and he fell like a cut-root tree. But he was not discouraged, and he was able to force Draupadi to sit on the chariot. This incident was seen by Duimaya Muni, and he strongly protested the action of Jayadartha. He also followed the chariot, and through Dratrayika, the matter was brought to the notice of Maharaj Yudhishthira. The Pandavas then attacked the soldiers of Jayadartha and killed them all. At last, Bhima caught hold of Jayadartha and beat him very severely, almost dead. Then all but 5 hairs were cut off the head, and he was taken to all the kings and introduced as the slave of Maharaj Yudhishthira. He was forced to admit himself to be the slave of Maharaj Yudhishthira before all the princely order, and in the same condition he was brought before Maharaj Yudhishthira. Maharaj Yudhishthira was kind enough to order him released, and when he admitted to being a tributary prince under Maharaj Yudhishthira, Queen Draupadi also desired his release. After this incident, he was allowed to return to his country. Being so insulted, he went to Gangotri in the Himalayas and undertook a severe type of penance to please Lord Shiva. He asked his benediction to defeat all the Pandavas, at least one at a time. Then the battle of Kurukshetra began, and he took sides of Duryodhana. In the first day's fight, he was engaged with Maharaj Drupata, then with Virata, and then with Adhimanyu. While Adhimanyu was being killed mercilessly, surrendered by the 7 great generals, the Pandavas came to his help. But Jayadartha, by the mercy of Lord Shiva, repulsed them with great ability. At this, Arjuna took a vow to kill him, and on hearing this, Jayadartha wanted to leave the warfield and asked permission from the Kauravas for the cowardly action, but he was not allowed to do so. On the contrary, he was obliged to fight with Arjuna, and while the fight was going on, Lord Krishna reminded Arjuna that the benediction of Shiva upon Jayadartha was that whoever would cause his head to fall on the ground would die at once. He therefore advised Arjuna to throw the head of Jayadartha directly into the lap of his father, who was engaged in penances at the Shamata Pankacha pilgrimage. This was actually done by Arjuna. Jayadartha's father was surprised to see a severed head on his lap, and he at once threw it to the ground. The father immediately died, his forehead being cracked in 7 pieces.
Text 17, Canto 1, Chapter 15. Satyevruta kumati natmada ishvaro me yat pada padmam abhavaya bhajanti bhavya mam shrantavaham arayoratino bhuvistam na praharam yadanubhava nirastachittaha. Sauthye, regarding a chariot driver, Vrataha, engaged, Kumatina, by bad consciousness, Atmadaha, one who delivers, Ishvaraha, the Supreme Lord, may my, yet whose, Pada Padmam, lotus feet, Abhavaya, in the matter of salvation, Bhajanti, do render service. Bhavya, the intelligent class of men. Mam, unto me. Shranta, thirsty. Vaham, my horses. Arayaha, the enemies. Ratinaha, a great general. Bhuvistam, while standing on the ground. Na, did not. Praharan, attack. Yat, whose. Anubhava, mercy. Nirasta, being absent. Chitta, mind. Translation. It was by his mercy only that my enemies neglected to kill me when I descended from my chariot to get water from my thirsty horses. And it was due to my lack of esteem for my Lord that I dared engage him as my chariot driver. For he is worshipped and offered services by the best men to attain salvation. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, is the object of worship both by impersonalists and by the devotees of the Lord. The impersonalists worship his glowing effulgence, emanating from his transcendental body of eternal form, bliss, and knowledge. And the devotees worship him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Those who are below even the impersonalists consider him to be one of the great historical personalities. The Lord, however, descends to attract all by his specific transcendental pastimes, and thus he plays the part of the most perfect master, friend, son, and lover. His transcendental relation with Arjuna was in friendship, and the Lord therefore played the part perfectly, as he did with his parents, lovers, and wives. While playing in such a perfect transcendental relation, the devotee forgets by the internal potency of the Lord that his friend or son is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although sometimes the devotee is bewildered by the acts of the Lord. After the departure of the Lord, Arjuna was conscious of his great friend. But there was no mistake on the part of Arjuna, nor any ill estimation of the Lord. Intelligent men are attracted by the transcendental acting of the Lord with a pure, unalloyed devotee like Arjuna. In the warfield, scarcity of water is a well-known fact. Water is very rare there, and both the animals and men working strenuously on the warfield constantly require water to quench their thirst. Especially wounded soldiers and generals feel very thirsty at the time of death, and it sometimes so happens that simply for want of water, one has to die unavoidably. But such scarcity of water was solved in the battle of Kurukshetra by means of boring the ground. By God's grace, water can be easily obtained from any space if there is a facility for boring the ground. The modern system works on the same principle of boring the ground, but modern engineers are still unable to dig immediately wherever necessary. It appears, however, from the history as far back as the days of the Pandavas that big generals like Arjuna could at once supply water even to the horses. And what to speak of men by drawing water from underneath the hard ground simply by penetrating the strastrum with a sharp arrow, a method still unknown to the modern scientists.
Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 15, Verse 18. Nanmanani udararuchira smita sopitani he partha he arjuna sakhe kuro mandaneti shancha pitani narvadeva prishani smartur ludhatani hridayam mama madhavayasa. Normani, conversation and jokes. Udara, talked very frankly. Ruchira, pleasing. Smita shobhitani, decorated with a smiling face. He. Hey, note of address. Partha, O son of Prita. He, notes of address. Arjuna, Arjuna. Sakhe, friend. Kuru Nandana, son of Kuru dynasty. Iti, and so on. Shanjalpitani, such conversation. Nara Deva, O king. Hiriti, heart. Sprishani, touching. Smarta, by remembering them. Lutanti, overwhelms. Hirdayam, heart and soul. Mama, my. Madhavasya, of Madhava, Krishna. Translation. O king, his joking and frank talks were pleasing and beautifully decorated with smiles. His addresses unto me, O son of Prita, friend, O son of the Kuru dynasty, and all such heartiness are now remembered by me, and thus I am overwhelmed.
Text 19, Canto 1, Chapter 15. Sayyasanatana vikattana bhojanadishva aikyad vayasartavaniti vipralabdaha sakyushakiva pitruvattanayasya sarvam Sehi Mahan Mahitaya Kumatir Agami. Sayya, sleeping on one bed. Asana, sitting on one seat. Atana, walking together. Vikattana, self-adoration. Bhojana, dining together. Adishu, and in all such dealings. Aikyat, because of oneness. Vayasa, O my friend. Ritavan, truthful. Iti, thus. Vipralabdaha, misbehaved. Sakyu, unto a friend. Sakya iva, just like a friend. Pitruvat, just like the father. Tanayasya, of a child. Sarvam, all. Sehe, tolerated. Mahan, great. Mahitaya, by glories. Kumate, of one who is of low mentality. Agam, offense, mine. Translation. Generally, both of us used to live together and sleep, sit, and loiter together. And at the time of advertising oneself for acts of chivalry, sometimes, if there were any irregularity, I used to reproach him by saying, "My friend, you are very truthful," even in those hours when his value was minimized. He, being the supreme soul, used to tolerate all those utterings of mine, excusing me exactly as a true friend excuses his true friend, or a father excuses his son. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Since the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna, is all perfect, his transcendental pastimes with his pure devotees never lack anything in any respect, either as a friend, son, or lover. The Lord relishes the reproaches of friends, parents, or fiancés more than the Vedic hymns offered to him by great learned scholars and religionists in an official fashion.
Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 15, verse 20. Soham yipendra ita purushot amena sakya priyena sudriha hirdayana sunya adhavai urukrama parigram hem angaratsan koper ashyapir abaleva vinit jitosmi sa, that aham, myself, lipa indra, O emperor, rahita, bereft of, purusha utamena, by the Supreme Lord, Sakya, by my friend, Priyena, by my dearest Suhedra, by the well-wisher, Hirdayana, by the heart and soul, Sunya, vacant, Adhavani, recently, Uru Krama Parigraham, wives of the all-powerful, Anga, bodies, Rakshan, while protecting, Gopiha, by the cowherds, Asabiti, by the infidels, Abala Iva, like a weak woman, Vinirjita Asmi, I have been defeated. Translation. O Emperor, now I am separated from my friend and dear most well-wisher, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore my heart appears to be void of everything. In his absence, I have been defeated by a number of infidel cowherd men while I was guarding the bodies of all the wives of Krishna. Purport. The important part in this verse is how it was possible that Arjuna could be defeated by a gang of ignoble cowherd men, and how such mundane cowherd men could touch the bodies of the wives of Lord Krishna who were under the protection of Arjuna. Srila Vishvanatha Chakravarti Thakur has justified the contradiction by research in the Vishnu Purana and Brahma Purana. In these Puranas, it is said that once the fair denizens of heaven pleased Astakvakra Muni by their service and were blessed by the Muni to have the Supreme Lord as their husband, Astavakra Muni was curved in 8 joints of his body, and thus he used to move in a particular curved manner. The daughters of the demigods could not check their laughter upon seeing the movements of the Muni, and the Muni, being angry at them, cursed them that they would be kidnapped by rogues, even if they would to get the Lord as their husband. Later on, the girls again satisfied the Muni by their prayers, and the Muni blessed them that they would regain their husband even after being robbed by the rogues. So, in order to keep the words of the great Muni, the Lord himself kidnapped his wives from the protection of Arjuna, otherwise they would have at once vanished from the scene as soon as they were touched by the rogues. Besides that, some of the gopis who prayed to become wives of the Lord returned to their respective position after their desire was fulfilled. After the departure of Lord Krishna, he wanted all his entourage back to Godhead, and they were called back under different conditions only.
Text 21, Canto 1, Chapter 15. Tadvaidanusta Ishavasarato hayaste Soham rati nrupatayo yata anamanti Sarvam kshininatad abud asadishar riktam Bashman hutam kuhaha radam ivoptamusyam. Tad, the same. Why, certainly. Danuhte, the same bow. Ishava, arrows. Sa, the very same. Radaha, chariot. Hayate, the very same horses. Sa, aham, I am the same Arjuna. Rati, the chariot fighter. Nrupatayaha, all the kings. Yataha, whom. Anamanti, offered their respects. Sarvam, all. Kshanina, at a moment's notice. Tat, all those. Abhut, became. Asat, useless. Isha, because of the Lord. Riktam, being void. Bashman, ashes. Hutam, offering butter. Kuhaka radam, money created by magical feats. Iva, like that. Uptam, sown. Usyam, barren land. Translation: I have the very same Gandiva bow, the same arrows, the same chariot drawn by the same horses, and I use them as the same Arjuna, to whom all the kings offered their due respects. But in the absence of Lord Krishna, all of them, at a moment's notice, have become null and void. It is exactly like offering clarified butter and ashes, accumulating money with a magic wand, or sowing seeds on barren land. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. As we have discussed more than once, one should not be puffed up by borrowed plumes. All energies and powers are derived from the Supreme Source, Lord Krishna, and they act as long as He desires and cease to function as soon as He withdraws. All electrical energies are received from the powerhouse, and as soon as the powerhouse stops supplying energy, the bulbs are of no use. In a moment's time, such energies can be generated or withdrawn by the supreme will of the Lord. Material civilization without the blessing of the Lord is child's play only. As long as the parents allow the child to play, it's all right. As soon as the parents withdraw, the child has to stop. Human civilization and all activities thereof must be dovetailed with the supreme blessing of the Lord. And without this blessing, all advancement of human civilization is like decoration on a dead body. It is said here that a dead civilization and its activities are something like clarified butter and ashes, the accumulation of money by a magic wand, and sowing of seeds in a barren land.
Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 15, verse 22 and 23. Rajams Trivanyu Prishtanam Surhitam na Surlit Pure Viparasapa Vimudhanam Nitnatam Mustibir Nitayaha Varnunim Mandiram Pitva Maddonaman Dita Chetasam Ajanatam Ivan Yonyam Chaturpancha Vasetita. Rajan, O King, Sriva by you, Anu Prishtanam, as you inquired, Suhritam, of friends and relatives, Na are Surtut Pure, in the city of Dwarka, Vipra, the Brahmanas, Sapa, by the curse of Vimuddanam, of the befooled, Naitatam, of the killed, Mustibi, with bunches of sticks, Mitaha, among themselves, Vadanam, fermented rice, Madiram, wine, Pitrva, having drink, Mada Matita, being intoxicated, Chetasham, of the mental situation, Ajanantam, of the unrecognized, Iva, like, Anyoyam, one another, Chatu, 4, Pancha, 5, Avastita, now remaining. Translation. O King, since you have asked me about our friends and relatives in the city of Dwarka, I will inform you that all of them were cursed by the Brahmanas, and as a result, they all became intoxicated with wine made from putrefied rice and fought amongst themselves with sticks not even recognizing one another. Now all but 4 or 5 of them are dead and gone.
Text 24, Canto 1, Chapter 15. Prayinaitad Bhagavata Ishwarasya Viche Stitam Mito Nignanti Bhutani Bhavayanti Cha Yanmitaha. Prayinayatat. It is almost by Bhagavataha, of the personality of Godhead, Ishwarasya, of the Lord, Vichestitam, by the will of, Mitaha, one another, Nignanti, do kill, Bhutani, the living beings, Bhavayanti, as also protect, Cha also, Yat, of whom, Mitaha, one another. Translation. Factually, this is all due to the supreme will of the Lord, the personality of Godhead. Sometimes people kill one another, and at other times they protect one another. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. According to the anthropologists, there is nature's law of struggle for existence and survival of the fittest. But they do not know that behind the law of nature is the supreme direction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is confirmed that the law of nature is executed under the direction of the Lord. Whenever, therefore, there is peace in the world, it must be known that it is due to the good will of the Lord. And whenever there is upheaval in the world, it is also due to the supreme will of the Lord. Not a blade of grass moves without the will of the Lord. Whenever, therefore, there is disobedience of the established rules enacted by the Lord, there is war between men and nations. The surest way to the path of peace, therefore, is dovetailing everything to be established rule of the world, rule of the Lord. The established rule is that whatever we do, whatever we eat, whatever we sacrifice, or whatever we give in charity must be done to the full satisfaction of the Lord. No one should do anything, eat anything, sacrifice anything, or give anything in charity against the will of the Lord. Discretion is the better part of valor, and one must learn how to discriminate between actions which may be pleasing to the Lord and those which may not be pleasing to the Lord. An action is thus judged by the Lord's pleasure or displeasure. There is no room for personal whims. We must always be guided by the pleasure of the Lord. Such action is called yoga karmashu kaushalam, or actions performed which are linked with the Supreme Lord. That is the art of doing a thing perfectly.
Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 15, verse 25 and 26. Jalyo kasham jaled yotvam mahanto tai anim yasha durbalam balino rangyan mahanto balin mithata evam balistel yubil appear madha beard itrad vipuhu yudhon yudhum beard anyon yam bupuran sankara ha jala kasam, of the aquatics, jale, in the water, yadavat, as it is, mahanta, the larger one, adanti, swallows, ani yasha, smaller ones, durbalan, the weak, balini, the stronger, radgan, O king, mahata, the strongest, balin less strong, mita, in a duel, evam, thus, balistahi, by the strongest, udupi, by the descendants of Yadu. Mahabi, one who has greater strength. Itaran, the common ones. Vibhu, the supreme personality of Godhead. Yadun, all the Yadus. Yadubi, by the Yadus. Anyanyam, among one another. Bu Badan, the burden of the world. Sanjaraha, has unloaded. Ha, in the past. Translation. O king, as in the ocean, the bigger and stronger aquatics swallow up the smaller and weaker ones, so also the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to lighten the burden of the earth, has engaged the stronger Yadu to kill the weaker, and the bigger Yadu to kill the smaller. Purport. In the material world, the struggle for existence and survival of the fittest are laws, because in the material world there is disparity between conditioned souls due to everyone's desire to lord it over the material resources. This very mentality of lording it over the material nature is the root cause of conditioned life, and to give facility to such imitation lords, the illusionary energy of the Lord has created a disparity between conditioned living beings by creating the stronger, weaker in every species of life. The mentality of lording it over the material nature in the creation has naturally created a disparity, and therefore the laws of struggle for existence. In the spiritual world, there is no such disparity, nor is there such a struggle for existence. In the spiritual world, there is no struggle for existence because everyone there exists eternally. Therefore, no disparity because everyone wants to render service to the Supreme Lord, and no one wants to imitate the Lord in becoming the beneficiary. The Lord, being creator of everything, including the living beings, factually is the proprietor and the enjoyer of everything that be. But in the material world, by the spell of Maya or illusion, this eternal relation with the Supreme Personality of Godhead is forgotten, and so the living being is conditioned under the laws to struggle for existence and survival of the fittest.
Today we read up to Canto 1, Chapter 15, Text 26. We'll continue reading tomorrow. Kandaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Hare Krishna.
श्री गुरु चरणा पद्मा केवल भक्ति सद्मा श्री गुरु पद्मा केवल भक्ति बंदो मुहि सावधान बंदो मुई सावधान मोते बंदो सावधान जहर प्रसादे भाई ए भवतुरिया जाय जहर कृष्ण प्राप्ति होए जहा आईते कृष्ण प्राप्ति गुरुमुख पद्म वाक्य चिते ते कुरिया ऐक्य गुरुमुख और ना कोरी हो मोने आशा श्री गुरु चरणे रति ऐसे उत्तम गति श्री गुरु चरणे रति ऐसे उत्तम गति जय प्रसादे पूरे सर्व आशा प्रसादे पूरे सर्व जय प्रसादे पूरे सर्व आशा जय प्रसादे पूरे सर्व चक्षुदान दिलो जय जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से अक्षुदान दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशितो प्रेम भक्ति जाह हुईते अविद्या विनाश जते भक्ति प्रेम भक्ति जाह हुईते अविद्या विनाश जते भक्ति हुईते अविद्या विनाश जते वेदे गाय जहर चरितो श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनर बंधु गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनर बंधु लोकनाथ लोकेर जीवाना आहा प्रभु कुरु दया देह मोरे पद छया प्रभु कुरु दया देह मोरे पद छया आहा प्रभु कुरु दया देह मोरे पद छया प्रभु कुरु दया देह मोरे पद छया एबे जगु त्रिभुवाना शीला प्रभुपादो इलो शरण प्रभुपादो इलो शरण जय प्रभुपादा प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभु जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा नमः विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने नमः विष्णुपदाय वेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नमस्ते हरिबो वाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद जय श्री चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे Hare Ramo Hare Ramo Hari Hari Bol Ramo Ramo Hare Hare Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari जय शिला प्रभुपाद की जय जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्रीमद एसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शिला प्रभुपाद की जय जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्रीमद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर महाराज शिला प्रभुपाद की जय नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवाशादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय मथुरा धाम की जय मायापुर नवद्वीप धाम की जय पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय गंगा माई यमुना माई की जय भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Namo Shivaya.
Lotus feet of our spiritual master are the only way by which we take into pure devotion service. I bow down to his lotus feet with great awe and reverence. By his grace, one can cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. My only wish is to have my consciousness purified by the words emanating from his lotus mouth. Attachment to his lotus feet is a perfection that fulfills all desires. He opens my dark eyes and fills my heart with transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord birth after birth. From him ecstatic prema emanates, by him ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of his character. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor, the Lord and master of the devotees. O Master, be merciful unto us. Give us the shade of your lotus feet. Your fame is spread all over the three worlds. We take the shelter of your lotus feet, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.